la ciencia.
Wow, that music's loud. Hold on a second, guys. Hold on, hold on. Let me turn this music down just a little bit. There we go. All right, there we go. All right, okay, guys, we are going to talk to Nick. Hey, tree friend of JSTOK, been taking a lot of notes on the Elmo. I can help you out with any info you need. Okay, stand by. It's going to be a calm conversation. It's nothing confrontational or anything like that. I haven't been updated on anything new lately, so we're about to connect with him now. Hold on a second. So he's pretty new to Discord. So hold on, control. So let's go ahead and see if he I just got him to do the Discord thing. So hold on a second. All right, let's call him. What did I say? 10 minutes. Hold on a second. 20. Okay, we're gonna call him in 2 minutes. We're gonna call him in 2 minutes, and He should be ready. How does my mic sound? Does my mic sound fine? Cause I don't even have my headphones. I haven't even ordered my headphones. Okay, sounds good. Okay, all right. So okay, I'm good. Okay, great. All right. So I've been trying to get him to. I've been trying to get a conversation with him, and he ghosted me, and then I forgot all about it. Tell you the truth, so much has been going on. Nothing bad, but so much has been going on in my real life that I didn't even realize it. And this is why I tell you, ladies, you know, what I'm saying when you have a roster, those of you who are single, if a man ghosts you, you don't even notice it. So you don't flip out and start writing 5-page essays of you did this and you don't even realize it. And I didn't even realize it until he sent me a message. Okay, so let's go ahead and try to give him a call back here. Hopefully this will work. Ooh, that's loud.
What's up?
Hey Nick, how are you doing? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you. Am I sounding okay?
Yeah, you sounded fine.
Perfect.
Okay, so let me just introduce myself. I am a right wing. I'm mainly in politics, but I also do relationships on my other channel. But I'm mainly known as a conservative political streamer. But on my Twitter, you rarely see anything politics because I tend to do more on um, anti-red pill, anti-misogyny, but I'm not a feminist, okay? So I do favor men and I do put women accountable, but I also hold everybody accountable when it comes to certain things. So there's that.
That's
And
fair.
and so the reason why I was reaching out to you is because I wanted to get a better understanding of who you are and why you do what you do, to get also understanding of the relationship. Because, in my opinion, if I'm wrong, correct me. Also, if I ask a question that's too personal, tell me that and I'll back off. Okay, I'm not overbearing. I'm not going to be disrespectful whatsoever. And I want to make sure we just have a good conversation. So one of the things that I've noticed is that it doesn't look like to me that you two are, even though you two threaten a divorce, it doesn't look to me like that's going to happen, right? And it looks like you
It's
guys
very touch and go.
yeah, but it looked like you two weaponized it. However, I must say it looks like you started weaponizing the divorce threat first, and then Kate joined in and said, "Okay, well, two can play at that game," and that's when the tables turn. Am I wrong?
Um, you're more right than wrong. We'll just say. Yeah, we can leave it there for now, unless you wanted to explore, which is
No, no, no,
fine
no,
too.
no, no, no. I just wanted to give you I just wanted to let you know what I'm watching. I'm watching this from a different point of view than everybody else. And so before I go on, I just wanted to get a better understanding of who you are. So if you don't mind, can you tell me a little bit about your background?
Yeah. I grew up in a pretty traditional, Asian household. I'm Taiwanese, so Chinese household, whatever. My mom was a tiger parent, and my dad was more easygoing, but still pretty stern. Um, I think my mom was probably the driving force of kind of a lot of it all. Like, and I'm not blaming her. I'm just saying that like a lot of the good stuff too, motivation, the ability to persevere, to kind of pick oneself up again. That's all her. But she also had a bit of a temper, and nothing was ever good enough, right? Which I hated that as a kid growing up. But like, as I get to adulthood, I'm glad I went through it. It's one of those like I always say the Bruce Lee quote too much. It's like you don't want to wish for an easy life. You want to wish for the wherewithal to endure a hard one, right? And I feel like she kind of what would they call it? Tempered me in a way via like how difficult it was kind of growing up and interacting with her. But kind of I've come around full circle. Anyways, from then I went and did engineering and finance. I interned at an investment bank on Wall Street briefly, and then due to the financial crisis of 2009, I ended up pursuing engineering, and then I worked for 7 years as an engineer. So let me just make sure she doesn't need anything. Hey,
So,
what's up?
so let me
I
ask.
am doing a podcast or like a talk show. No, I can probably get on after. Yeah, hot tub after. Yeah, I mean you can eat first if you want. All right, cool. Food's on your desk. All right, bye. Cool.
So,
Sorry about that. Anyways, so yeah, 7 years as an engineer or thereabouts, and then I don't know if she'd even differ on this account, but basically, at that point, her social media stuff was taking off, and we
wait,
were already
wait, wait, wait.
married.
Just hold on, hold on,
Um,
hold on.
oh yeah, go ahead.
Before we get to that, let's go back to your tiger mom.
Mhm.
Do you find that you adopted? Well, first of all, already said it, so let me go ahead and put it out there. So did you find that you adopted a lot of your mom's methods in getting what she wanted, or basically advancing in society?
Yeah, I mean, like, look, I feel like a big, I wouldn't even call it a flaw, just a downfall of most people is that they give up a little too easily,
Mm-hmm.
right? There's something to be said for figuring out that the approach that you're going at is wrong, but I feel like most people give up too easily, and they haven't given enough time to even kind of evaluate the results, right? And she was definitely a driver of like there is. I mean, she believed that there wasn't any real talent or genius. It was just all hardworking or less hardworking people, which obviously isn't exactly correct, but when I stop and think about it, it's like not a bad way to frame the world, right? Because I see very little downside other than mental health.
Yeah, we're not gonna judge your mom. You This is the second time you're like justifying your mom's behavior, and I'm not judging her at all. I actually for her to uh, be successful to where she is, she has to be who she is. So I'm noticing there's some characteristics about you, and I'm just interested in who did you get those from, your mom and your dad, and so it looks like you got that from your mom, and that's not a bad thing.
Yeah, the only thing I got from my dad was being very verbose and talking a lot, and then also I think I'm closer to his sense of humor, even though I think that's more learned than anything genetic, obviously. But everything else is my basically.
Okay. So so are you the middle child, the first, the youngest, what?
I'm the oldest
You're the
child.
oldest child. And
Yeah.
what responsibilities were put on you?
Pretty much all of them. Like, I had to lead by example. I needed to do well in school and in extracurriculars so that my brother would have an example to learn by. And so they drove me relentlessly in that regard. Like, this is the stereotype of like A minus, why not A, right? And I remember like I got the shit. I wouldn't call it child abuse, but I definitely got the shit beat out of me when I got a B, a B plus at one point, right?
A B
And then when
plus.
my brother got B's, it was fine. And like that just always blew my mind. But like their whole thing was that like, well, obviously you got one, so that he's gonna get one, and that's not logical. But like, I kind of know, I understand where they're coming from. And then obviously they wanted me to procreate and have kids. But luckily, my brother took that one for me, and he has 3 kids, so they're kind of off my back now. My mom has passed away, and it's been about 10 years.
Mhm.
And I think some of the fondness or the rose tinted kind of backwards look is probably due to that.
Mhm. Okay. All right. And so you said one of the things you got from your dad was the fact that he's talkative. Do you find
Mhm.
that with the mannerism and characteristics of your mom that that was somewhat of a defense mechanism, or Was he? What did he talk a lot because he didn't feel like he was heard? Like when people talk a lot, it can be used as a deflection. It can be used as a look at me. It could be. Yeah, it's a lot of reasons why it could be used. So I'm just wondering, based upon your observation, why do you think your dad was the one who talked a lot? Because you do talk a lot. Holy shit, you talk a lot. But I just wanted to know, like, why did your dad do that? I know why you do that, and I'm gonna see if I can get that confirmation. I could be wrong, but I wanted to know, why do you think your dad does that?
Maybe there's a deeper analysis here, but my understanding is he was like that from like a young kid,
Mm-hmm.
and he was a smaller statured kind of guy,
Okay.
and so he told me that like to be heard and noticed, he would have to just be like funny and always kind of cracking a joke or something. It's funny because he said that his high school buddies called him the mouth,
Okay. Okay.
and he was pretty. I mean, he's probably even he's definitely way better with words than I am, to
Mm-hmm.
the point where like you have to serve mandatory military kind of enlistment in Taiwan at the time,
Mm-hmm.
and when he got recruited, they made him a negotiator. Like
Oh,
he would be
okay.
getting on a megaphone and yelling at China across the strait if anything happened.
Okay. Okay. All right. All right. And so, how did your mom feel about him being a talkative person? Did she like it? Did she tolerate it, or was she what? What did how did she like it? Or, I mean, how did she deal with it?
Mostly it was fine, and she, you know, said one of the reasons she married my dad was for humor.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so mostly it was fine, but occasionally she would grouse about him oversharing or maybe saying something that was exaggerated for effect.
So your mom tend to keep things closer to the chest.
Hmm.
Okay. All right. So your oversharing came from your dad.
Yeah, if that's even hereditary, it could just be a learned behavior, right?
Yeah, it is a learned behavior. It is because when I watch you two, I am like, why are y'all saying those things and on the internet? It's none of our business, but I notice a lot of people tend to overshare on TikTok, on Instagram, on in you guys' case, on stream. And I was just like, that looks very strange to me, but I understand it's a different culture. Sometimes just a different way of people just they don't feel the need to hide things. And so that's where I was wondering with your tiger mom, they don't tend to overshare. So you got that from your dad.
Well, I guess this might be useful for you. In all fairness, I actually keep quite private, probably to an extreme, right? Like for instance, I don't believe in airing dirty laundry, generally speaking, right? I know this sounds crazy, but like every instance of me being brought into the limelight, since her career kind of took off, has been against my will, right? Um, you could
How?
argue that it was my fault for the 2022 phone call, but obviously when the guys broke in and I shot the guy, like the police report is what gave me away, right? Like, I basically tried to stay out of the limelight as much as I could until like it was just not practical to do so anymore. And the sad part, or the part I don't like, is that when I came out, obviously, um, like meaning I wasn't a hidden person, I could just walk behind her while she was streaming. Then like it became this thing, and I don't think she means to, and I'm sure she has a reason for it. Probably like my fault. But like basically, it's that she sees it as valid for her to be able to call out things that she's not happy about or criticize, or even just try to get me to reform my behavior while on stream, which I've repeatedly said I do not want to do. And we even have a safe word in place when either of us are feeling comfortable, but she never uses it unless I literally say safe word. Um, because like anything that makes her mad or makes me mad, like it's good to just kind of like circuit break that when you can. But yeah, basically, I did not want any of it to be public, but I'm also not one necessarily to shy away once it's being made public. I'm just like, all right, well, this is the hand that we're dealt, and so I guess we play these cards, which probably isn't wise.
How did you explain to me how you were made public against your will?
Well, okay, so in the very, very beginning, this goes back to like 2016. IRL streaming on Twitch wasn't a thing. You had to play a video game, and so then everyone started pretending to play Pokemon Go to stream in real life. And so she was part of that wave, and that was how she first broke like 100 viewers.
Mm-hmm.
And I was a camera person back then because her stream was more of a hobby than it was any kind of moneymaker, right? And like, she I don't think she really registers this because she thinks it's like my big plan to hide me. But really it was that like there was a guy, I still remember his name, Shimon, who used to donate $20 every stream. Fucking chump change, but like still it was very, very notable to her in that she was like, oh wow, this guy donates $20 every stream. And that guy had done a bit of snooping, I guess, and he had found out that she was married to me, right?
Uh-huh.
And so he asked her, wait, is that your husband on stream? He was in chat, and she blurted out, no, it's my gay best friend, which was annoying to me, but I also didn't really care, right?
Okay.
It was more annoying to me because I worked at a very conservative workplace, and I was like, if you become a big streamer, I really need you not to call me gay because my colleagues would not like that.
Okay. You still didn't answer my question though.
Oh, sorry. I do this sometimes. The question was.
Don't worry. I'm very good at keeping you on track, so no worries at all. So the question was, how did you become public against your will?
Oh, so like that was one instance because like she turned the camera around me, and that was the first time they actually got a good look at me. Previously, I was behind the camera. She grabbed the camera, turned it around, and said, "That's my gay best friend." That would be the first instance. The second instance would be we jump all the way to 2022, and then it was the cancellation stream where she says I said certain things. I still maintain I didn't. And then, she records the call or she streams the call without me knowing. Hence, I am for the first time viscerally a known quantity.
Not by face, right? Just by your voice and that you are her husband, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Right.
But like, I mean, due to just security lapses over the years, there's enough photos and stuff of me out there that it became kind of this whole thing. But no, that would be mostly still under the radar. But like, after that point, I stopped. It used to be like, fucking James Bond shit. We'd be at TwitchCon. I would just be, milling around TwitchCon, and she'd be doing her, celebrity stuff, and we would not interact at TwitchCon whatsoever, right? We would go at separate times to the hotel room, all that, just to maintain the veneer. After that 22 incident, we just kind of gave up on that, and like other bigger streamers probably saw, and we just kind of said, whatever. We won't say it explicitly on stream, but we will, kind of just live it in real life.
So in essence, you were not made public. Well, the 2016, yes. 2017, I don't consider that being made. You were made public, but your identity. And I'm just gonna go by my observation. I could be wrong. You can feel free to correct me. I did not know of your physical existence until the shooting incident.
Yep.
So,
which is also against my will.
Well, yeah, but you decided to come on stream with her.
I mean, I kind of had to because so the big snafu that people don't get is that like she could not locate her phone, and so when I got her up there after I shot the guy, I just shot some tweets out, stream of consciousness for her, right? That's the big misconception. Hence why Freudian slipper. I just wasn't thinking of the right perspective. I just tweeted out for her that I shot a guy because I had shot a guy. The idea was
but
to put it out there.
Let me make sure. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for interrupting.
Yeah.
You did that on her. You did that on her Twitter, not your Twitter, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Because that night, we're talking like 30 seconds after, right? Okay. Like I shot the guy and then I pulled her upstairs. Mm-hmm. She didn't have her phone because they had her phone, and so they dropped it on the driveway or something like that. So like I had to tweet for her because I was like, man, I don't see any cops yet, and like maybe they think it's a swatting again because it sounds ridiculous, right? 3 home invaders, and so I just figured if I throw it on Twitter, someone will tell someone, and then they'll probably let the authorities know.
That's still not against your will, though, right?
I mean, sure. It was more so that like people were calling her a liar because of the police report.
Yeah.
And then at that point, it just made more sense for me to come out and clear the air, with Aiden Ross, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. And so when you came out, and that's admirable. You came out to defend your wife and to explain to everybody that it was not fake, it was real. You continue to stay uh, in front of the camera, and not that I'm against that. It's just that I we have to stop blaming her for your actions, because that you being in front of the camera, you being your identity being known as far as her husband now is you. It's your decision, not against your will.
I mean, if you're saying I had agency in the decision, sure. But like the other part is that like I actually wasn't so sure I was going to be in front of the camera after the Aiden thing. It was kind of her at the time that dragged me in front of the camera because she got into her head, which I think is cute and I appreciate it. But like she got into her head that from then forward, we would be streaming together all the time. And in fact, that night after the Aiden stream, she stayed up like till 4 a.m. reserving every possible combination of name, like Nick and Kate, Nick and Ammo, blah, 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 for every social media platform that there was. Like she reserved like 40 plus names, right? She really wanted to do that. And she thought that was kind of the future for her content creation for her life.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously the frictions on stream after trying to do that made her reconsider. And I don't even know if she would admit to that currently.
So let's go back to 2022, right? And I want to ask this question. I want you to take the time, just like
Sure.
briefly think to yourself, and then give me the answer. Have you forgiven her from that?
I'm right in the middle. Like I want to say yes. I also could see no. Um, it depends on what you mean by forgiven, right? Like for me, if
You
she
keep
stopped
bringing it up,
bringing,
so I hear some animosity there, and it's I mean I totally get the whole not forget, but I still hear a little anger there.
maybe a little bit, but the anger is mostly, in my opinion, from like the way it was handled after. And what I mean by that is this, right? In that moment, um, again, she'd probably back away from this today, but she overstated. There were some things in her thing that went very viral that I did not do,
Okay.
right? But I get it. She did like the feelings she felt were very real, right? And it's just the facts were a little bit fudged. And so afterwards, she was going to go correct her big old expose stream of me. 3 days after that, she was going to go live to correct the record.
Okay.
And this is when I intercepted her and I said, well, maybe don't, because you can't really back away from overstating like that. And I can take the L. What I just need you to understand is that going forward, everyone who knows us, everyone who sees us together, who's aware of this incident, which it reached like 100 plus million people, they're going to think I'm an abuser. And so what you could do is to make it kind of like you're almost covering for me, like don't say anything even that could be perceptively negative to about me in public, because they're going to color it through the lens of their understanding of 2022, which we are not going to correct because it's just not a good look.
So not
And
correcting
so
it was your idea.
yes, or
Okay.
at least I mentioned that I thought that was a better move.
So why do you keep bringing it up to her then? Since this is so, it sounds like all of that was in your control, but you weaponized that to make her feel guilty or to make her feel some kind of way about it, and you bring it up a lot. And now you're giving me some information I didn't even know behind the scenes, that this was your doing.
No, no. Well, so here's the thing, right? Like, she didn't stick with that, though, right? I didn't realize I was making a one-way offer. Like, because the first chance
Hold
she
on.
got,
What do you
she
mean
would,
she didn't? What do you mean she didn't stick with it? Help me out. I don't know what you mean.
oh, she has mentioned me in passing before as, I think she's given the example to her stream, like, oh man, my roommate's pissing me off, and it's like kind of like, well, everyone knows who that is, right? Stuff like that where it's like very, very obvious, but other times it's just kind of like, and maybe this is just accidental. She'll leave it unmuted while we're talking, and then someone will overhear me. But really, the part where it got really sore was after I started being on her stream a lot, she would start calling me out for things on stream. And like her call outs always sound, in my opinion, worse than they actually are. She tends to have a way with words in that sense. Like she makes things sound like pretty close to the worst possible version of it. Right? Like for instance, she maintains that she was very clear that night that there wasn't any physical abuse or sex trafficking going on, and that's just not the impression that every other person got.
But you told her not to correct the record. So that's on you.
It's fair. I mean, I thought it was more. Maybe I just have to be more clear. I thought it was more of a if you're willing to commit to not, like just off the cuff saying negative things about me, because you have to be more sensitive to that, because we're going to let this record remain uncorrected. If you can do that, then let's not correct the record. That's kind of like the idea, but she didn't stick with that. Hence why I just look worse as time goes on. Because
So
you look
did
at
she correct?
2022,
Wait. I'm confused.
Okay.
So did she? Wait a minute. You said she didn't stick with that, meaning that she corrected the record?
Oh no, she just she kept basically bringing me up whenever it suited, I guess would be the way to say it.
Not to defend her, but if you did not give her instructions, and I'm gonna give you your flowers. You are the brains and the leader behind this. So if she's following your lead, you told her the instructions. Gave her the path to walk by. Now, since you told her not to correct the record, not to set everything straight, to tell that you didn't do these things, if she mentioned them constantly, then you gave her that out, or you gave her that gun that she can pull the trigger on.
Um, Look, I don't disagree, but like for me, it's like, and maybe I just organize my life around too many of these like little détentes, we call them, right? But it's like basically my thought process was the greater good for both of us is if she doesn't correct it, and then she also just kind of goes out of her way to only mention positives, but certainly no negatives, because any negative she mentioned would be colored. That was my understanding of like the agreement of like, don't correct it, but do this thing instead. But
Do
she didn't
what
do the thing
thing?
instead.
Do what thing instead?
Oh, just not to bring me up negatively publicly. Certainly not
So
without
you
my
you
knowledge.
asked her you asked her to not bring
Oh,
you
yeah,
up.
yeah. Because look, the way it works is that the whole world is gonna look back on that and see it as like exhibit one, or right.
Right.
And so every future interaction is very, very much the well is very, very much poisoned by that thing, right?
Right.
Because if we're just arguing with each other, right, they're just going to think I'm abusing her again.
Right.
Like that's just the knee jerk kind of reaction. Even if like she started yelling first or whatever, right? Like it doesn't matter if at any point in time I'm yelling, then I am at fault, and it's my abuser mentality.
Absolutely. You know why?
Well,
Because we're going back to that phone call conversation where we hear you yelling, or I don't know if it was, help me, correct me if I'm wrong. Was it a recording or was it a phone call? I
it
remember.
was a phone call.
Okay. So
Yeah.
we hear you yelling on the phone, and that's our foundation in reference to who you are. And since you did not have her correct the record, how are we to know anything different? Because when I saw you on stream, I was like, what? I was like, where'd he come from? And then I began to watch ever since. So it's like because the record was not straightened in the beginning by your doing, it's only natural for everybody to assume that you're the abuser, correct?
No, that's 100% true. It's just I'm okay with being known as one instance of abuse guy,
Are you
but then
though? Are you? Are you? Come on, are you? I don't believe that. I don't believe that.
I'm gonna think about this for a second.
I think you're just saying that as a
No, no,
defense.
I actually think that I think that's true. With the little asterisk of there are people who I've corrected it with already, such as family, but like we're talking like less than 10 people, right?
Mm-hmm.
By and large, by the public, that is true, because I figured anonymity was a good enough shield,
Right.
right? I mean, like,
Absolutely.
yeah. because they don't look. If she says I'm married to this guy and they're meeting me and they haven't really seen my face connected with that story, they're gonna assume it's a new husband.
Right.
So like by and large, I was okay with that, except for like very very close friends and family. But you have to understand that 2022 was like a watershed moment for me, right? Like before that, I was like it's hard to like overstate how much we were riding high, right? Like what she was doing was very very much in the public eye to the point where like I had the opportunity to meet with like Peter Thiel, for instance, for dinner, right? I used to talk with Mr. Beast's manager weekly. Like we had access like you would not believe,
Right.
right? Even venture capital, like name partners, right? Like like one of the two names in Andreessen Horowitz, they were in her DMs technically, even though it was me who was kind of answering the more technical questions for her,
Mm.
right? So it was like we had access to everyone. She could DM anyone and get a response. And after 22, because a lot of the times the way it worked is like she might start DMing and then she might say, oh, like my husband handles that. And then they'd start talking to me. All of those contacts like evaporated. It was like a network reset,
Right.
which kind of good because I started getting into that thing of
Wait.
like
Did you? I'm
everyone
sorry.
wants
Did you just
something.
say kind of good? Did you say that?
Yes, at the time, I did not like it. I was like, holy shit! Like there goes the fucking the path to 100 million or $1 billion, right?
Wait.
Um,
Ho.
and then
Wait.
yeah.
Stop. You're saying
Mhm.
it's kind of good to lose a path to $1 billion, according to you. You're saying that losing that access is a good thing.
I'll tell you why. Because by and large, anyone who reached out to me in the next 2 or 3 months after that event, right? That's a real friend. And all of the
I'm
sunshine
sorry.
patriots
When does
fell off.
real friendship have anything to do with money? And we all love money, so I'm trying to get an understanding if this is a cope, or you're just really believing this, because you're saying like
No,
we're
no.
real good friends, but goddamn that $1 million, okay?
I think it's a nuanced point. It's like previous to that event in 2022, at like in September of 22, let's just say, right? My phone would be like ringing every like 15 minutes,
Okay.
right? Texts would be coming in all the time.
Okay.
Like so many people wanted to talk to me, wanted something. Friends wanted to be hired. Other people wanted, advice. It was like crazy. And then after that event, my phone did not ring. Did no text came in for a whole week, one whole week. And then some of my, who I consider closer friends now, especially, they started reaching out and asking how I was, right? Which I feel like is one because they think I'm an abuser at that point, but they're still checking in on me, right? That's a real friend. There are people who did not reach out to me for like 2 years after that event. And then after this shooting, they came back and they started, which I probably shouldn't blame them.
You
But like,
can't
I feel
blame them
like they
because
see that
that's
I'm,
all you're doing. You cannot blame them because it was your idea to keep that narrative that you're the abuser out there. Yeah?
I could agree with that, right? But like, there's some, I don't know, maybe it just doesn't work this way. I find that saving people's lives doesn't really make them act differently towards you. But maybe that's a good thing. Because like, there's another friend who I was close with him. And then at one point he was like overdosing and he was too scared to call anyone because he was afraid that people would think of him a certain way. And so he called me, swore me to secrecy before telling me where he was and that he needed help. Right? I rushed that guy to the hospital, even though I was flying out the next morning for a thing. And then he lived, he's fine. And then he also kind of disavowed me from the abuse thing. And for me, I'm just like, I yelled at my wife, like, I saved your life. I feel like you shouldn't have waited 2 years before you needed something to reach out.
You,
But that may
it
not be
was
okay.
your doing. It's your doing because of you telling her to not correct the record. You cannot blame her for a decision you made.
It's not the correcting of the record. It's more so that like I took it as a sign, like a hard to fake sign, if someone was actually cared about me or close to me by who reached out and at what kind of cadence after the event. But
Okay.
like, yeah, like the understanding would be like everyone thinks I'm potentially an abuser at that point, but I'm okay with that. And like losing all the fake people was kind of nice.
Well, hold on. I have to defend something here, okay? I don't necessarily think that it's a fake thing, right? for and hear me out, and we can have a nice friendly debate about it if you want to, but just hear me out on this one, right? So you decided to keep the narrative that you're the abuser, okay, that you were sex trafficking her, she's the victim, you're the bad guy, okay? You're saying that you're okay with that narrative, which is a cope, you're not, all right? And then you have friends, some your real who you consider your real true good friends are still keeping in touch with you, but your phone stopped ringing, your text messages declined massively for a week, and everything went on decline. And then you started getting these so-called friends back, or people start reaching back to you when you saved her life. Okay, so my thing is that if someone believes you to be an abuser, why? And I know you're gonna say, I know what you're gonna say. They should call me in any way. But what if we took it somewhere extreme and you had a male friend, and that male friend was married to a woman with a daughter, and it was discovered that, or it came out on top, it came out in the open that not you, sorry, that guy molested that little girl, okay? And nobody corrected the record, nothing came about it, and everybody like be quiet about it. Like, are you the type of person to call that guy? And if you are, that's fine. But are you the type of person to call that guy and say, "Yo, man, did you do her daughter? I just need to know something about that. Did you do that to her daughter?" I mean, I don't see. I guess the reason why I'm giving you that example is that if you allow people to paint this example that you're the abuser, and you kept that narrative out there by instructing Kate to do that, then you can't blame people for backing away from you, because they will feel like that they're supporting an abuser and therefore betraying Kate as the victim.
I mean, like I said, I would not fault anyone, and I haven't fault anyone who is like also friends with her in this, right? Like, which is why none of the professional contacts am I, holding a grudge against, right? But like for people who are my personal friends and they don't really know Kate, that's kind of where that standard applies. Yeah.
Okay. So,
But I get what you're saying with the example, because yeah, there's certainly a level of it rising, the event happening and being heinous enough that like it should make people shun you, right?
right.
Maybe this is not a great anecdote, but I remember reading my hometown newspaper, and like this guy I knew who was like the friendliest, like most innocent guy, was being charged with rape.
Mm-hmm.
And then I did dig into it, and I remember realizing, oh, it's like her parents wanted to pursue as vehemently as possible statutory rape, because I guess he was 19 and she was like 15, 16, something like that, right? And so like there are moments where I'm like, if I know someone well enough, I will take that second pass before I like kind of do judgment. But like the thing I'm kind of saying is just that like my friends who are just my friends and not her friend also, like I feel like have enough to work with, that they know me well enough to know that like the lion's share of what was said in 22 was not true.
Okay. So, I like that example you use, because you said you dig deep to find out it was something deal with the parents. But in this situation, there was nothing to dig deep, because you did not allow the narrative to be the record to be straight, set straight, right? So for those of us, or other people who were associate of both of you, or both you and Kate, or maybe just your friends, they had nothing to dig in, because it was up to you to, well, it was your decision not to have that record straightened. It was your decision to not have the truth, or yeah, the truth out there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably like a window into my soul, honestly, in that like I'm not the type of person who almost ever, to a fault, idealizes, right? Uh, I kind of just look at how the world is, and then I kind of look at the next step. And to me, the ship had sailed. If she corrected it, right? And this is kind of like, I guess, in defense of all this reasoning. If she had defended it I feel like most people would just not believe her and think that I was manipulating her to correct it, and it'll only give ammunition to her critics, because there would be the incelly guys saying, "Oh my God, so you lied," and then all of the people who matter as contacts, like the Mr. Beast people and all that, they just still couldn't touch it because it's still radioactive. You know
Well,
what I'm saying?
see,
Like once
well,
she says that,
uh,
I'm radioactive.
yeah, but I think there is a correct way you guys could have set the record straight, because the narrative is still out there, and I'm not saying that she should correct the record afterwards. Like, I mean, sorry, several days or weeks afterwards. It's too late. I think there's a way to correct a record by having you two on the stream like you're on now, and say, listen, uh, I am not an abuser. I did not put my hands on her. Um, and she basically said, listen, we've been married for, I think at that time, what, 7 years or 6 years? I'm not sure. But he's like, we've been married for X amount of years, and we tend to fight and emotions are high. I'm not saying this as, I'm saying this is what Kate would say. I'm not saying this as I got Stockholm syndrome. No, I love my husband. I was just very hurt. We had a big old argument. As always, it seems to me, and I'm just observing, that her biggest trigger is to threaten or neglect or do something with her animals. That
Mhm.
tends to set her off, and to a point of no return. And so I've noticed that now that I've seen you do that with the dogs, I now understand what happened back then in 2022. And I think if you guys had just came out and explained that entire narrative, then no one would have seen you guys fighting and then go, well, it was abusive back in 2022. What's different,
When you say that you've seen how I am with the dogs, could you elaborate just so I
I
get the
think,
right phrase?
okay, I think, please correct me if I'm wrong. I think the first fight was about the cigar and the dog, right?
Yeah.
And
Did did you watch that though? Like, because
yes. Oh,
she
I
makes it.
didn't watch
Oh,
all 20,
yeah.
what, with 36
Yeah.
hours, but I will say this, and I've never watched a long stream like that, and it took several days. But when the sun started coming out, that's when I was like, I'm too invested in this, but I could not turn it away, right? Because I
Yeah.
I wanted to understand why she was there with you and why you were there with her, and I've never seen a relationship like that ever. And I come from the ghetto, honey. I've seen fucked up relationships, and this was something was so new to me that I could not turn away. So that's what I meant about the animals.
I didn't. I didn't know how to handle that because it was my first, like, I'm public and we're having a fight and I know it's happening on stream, and which is not a good excuse, but like it was unplanned, unthought of. I didn't really get a chance to think it through. Right, I was just live and the camera was in my face the whole time.
Yeah, but she
Yeah.
told you you could leave and you refused to go.
Well, it's because like we have this thing where like she gets mad if I ask her to do something and I just say, you know what, never mind, don't. Like she usually just does it,
She
right?
didn't say that
And
though.
and what's that?
She didn't say that. She asked
No,
you
no, I
several
know.
times. She asked you several times to leave, and you refused. Then you had the nerve to turn the damn going stream off. So, and then the police came, and it was. I'm telling you, I know that entire story. Hence why I wanted to talk to you, because I was saying like, holy shit, I got to know the background of this young man and understand why he does what he does. Because clear to me that you are the leader in this. And so I'd rather talk to the leader. Is that, if that makes sense to you, right?
I think I was definitely the leader of it until 22. After 22, probably to a fault, I delegated much of the. It was very there was a balance of power after 22 where there were
How?
certain things I just did not weigh in on whatsoever,
Yeah, you
right?
still the
Like the
leader
OS
though.
stuff. Sure, sure, sure. Like the like if there is a leader, then yeah, that would be me. Sure.
Okay. So getting back in reference to what I think, like what sets her off beyond control, beyond return, is like the animals. She has this huge love and no nonsense to a certain level in reference to the animals. You both know each other's triggers. You both know how to fuck with each other. I watched it between the both of you. I think it's unhealthy to do that on stream. However, I want to get right back to the whole situation of you deciding, because I cannot let you get away with saying this, that this was done without your control. 2000, when your voice is on the recording, and yeah,
Mhm.
2016, 2022, I give you that out. Yes, that's he had no control over that. But when you, after the shooting, you guys decided to do a stream together, okay, that was your decision.
I definitely agreed with her decision. I was undecided at the time.
No, you were
There's a
the,
part of
no,
me.
no, no. If you were
Okay.
undecided, you would have never you would have never sat in front of her. Sorry, not in front of her, with her on stream. You guys were in the car together. You guys were on front of the stream. You were glowing when you was and you were actually in your best moment. I think that was a redemption arc, if there ever
Yeah.
you fucked that up, by the way, because afterwards with the whole fight, but that was your redemption
Oh,
arc.
trust me, I know.
Okay, that was your redemption arc, to be seen in a better light because y'all decided to be on stream together. Now, would I suggest that on being on a stream together on her channel is the right thing to do? Absolutely not. Nobody subscribed to see the both of you on her channel. Maybe to make another channel. I know hindsight 2020 is too late, right? Because like once the shooting would have happened, you guys could have had a couple channel, like just a channel that's devoted to you being a couple, and then she can have her own channel, which men don't want to see you, they just want to see her, and maybe women too. And then you can have your own channel, right, where you're doing whatever it is that you do. But that didn't happen. And I think as time went on, maybe she was getting frustrated because there was some little digs here and this, that, and the other. It's still her
Mhm.
stream, even though it is your mastermind. And then shit went downhill from there. What do you think about what I
Yeah,
just
no,
said?
I think that's mostly pretty accurate. I would only bring up that like I truly was more leaning on the idea because I thought it was so badass, honestly. See, like I really do love her, right? Like and like over the years, there's been other entrepreneurial things where I might have done it, but I give her full credit because I like seeing her kind of shine in that way. And like that's why originally it was just like I was telling her like, do we tell them you just shot the three guys, like the most badass thing ever? They're following you. You go get your gun, and you just whip around and just blast them, right? Like I was kind of a fan of that, but she wanted me to be public, and she was so into it that like I don't know, it felt good, right? Like
Of
to
course it is,
actually have her
but
walk.
hold on.
Yeah,
I want you to understand that she is proud of her husband, as a wife should be, right?
sure, yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah. And it felt good, right? Like because we don't get very many public moments like that.
right. And then you fucked it
Well, at least
up.
I don't.
Okay, so like I said, that was your redemption arc,
Yes.
and then it got fucked up with the big old almost a 2 day stream of fighting. And let's go to that moment, if unless there's something in the past that you want to clarify, because now I want to talk about the fight. But is there
No, I think we're
anything in the
good.
past? Okay, we're good. Okay, so
Yeah.
I want you to take the time to ask yourself, I and I could be wrong, but it sounded like it was a passive aggressive thing on your part in reference to the cigar, and that there was something else bothering you, but you used that opportunity to take it to the fight level.
I mean, that's the part where she criticizes, and I kind of agree that I have. It's weird. Like no one else can make me as mad as she does, and I don't think that's. I mean, obviously, getting mad is a bad thing, but like I think it's just because I really do see a future with her, and so every behavior, at least in my mind, just echoes endlessly. Like if I don't correct this, or if I don't say that I don't like this, then this is what's gonna it's gonna be forever or something like that. And that's probably a bad or wrong thought. Yeah.
What makes you think that you two are not till death do you part?
Um. Sorry. Repeat that again.
Okay, you know how you do your wedding vow. Well, I'm just assuming. Like me and my husband, this is my husband's second marriage. This is my first marriage. And before we got married, I said, I don't do the divorce thing. Okay. I lived my life. I did everything I wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? If I am exchanging these vows till death do us part, I expect you to stand by that. So it is till death do us part, you know what I'm saying? So and that could be dangerous or that could be a beautiful thing. It just depends on the person. So when I say what made you think that this marriage was not going to last until one of you pass in your elder years? That's what I'm saying. Or until, you come up dead or missing or what. I'm just joking when I say that, but I'm just saying
Yeah.
what
No.
what
So
make
like,
you think that?
no, I do admire that outlook. In fact, I think it's better for a marriage. I feel like, I mean, look, in the last 3 weeks when I've had all these fights, I've had a lot of people close to me weigh in, and it kind of surprises me that everyone is pretty, at least everyone close to me is pretty conservative with like very, very traditional values. Because all of them are like, yeah, there's no spark right now, but it doesn't matter. You're married. Like, like you made a commitment and you should stand by it, and on, right? Like, and on some level, I kind of like that when I keep hearing it because I'm just like, okay, I see.
But
So it's not about like,
what made you think that she was not on board with that?
um, I don't know for sure. It just feels like she values a lot the spark and then the happiness that comes on a daily
Is there
basis.
some
Whereas for me, I look at
insecurity
it
coming from you?
in what way?
For because when I asked you what did she do or why would you think that, you couldn't give me a definite answer. So I'm thinking, like, do you feel some insecurity in reference to your marriage? And that's why you're projecting or you are seeing things that are not there. Because if I was to ask you what make you think that she's not fully invested in the marriage, you should be able to rattle off some things just like you did earlier when I asked you some questions in reference to your mom.
Yeah. Um, Look, I feel like there's select instances of it, but I feel like the moments when I'm insecure, anyone would be insecure.
Okay.
And you could argue, I guess, that I put myself in that position,
Okay.
which I'd probably be amenable to mostly. But like, I would say broadly, I'm pretty comfortable. Someone told me this, and I don't know if it's the right framing. They said that in every relationship, there's someone who chases. And I,
Absolutely.
I thought for a second there, they're going to say I was the chaser. But then they said it was her. And I was like, oh, I had never really stopped to really think about it, and I think that's actually more correct, of an answer.
I agree with that. So that's
So
why I'm kind of puzzled that, like I said, what was the underlying motivation for you to start that fight? And then also, in addition to that, why are like I see a level of insecurity, and I just wanted to get that confirmation from you, and thank you for that. So then this is what I'm trying to get a, is this just something you're cooking up in your head, or are you seeing some events now that you're in front of the camera that you never saw before, that are giving you this belief system in reference to your marriage as well as her? And when I say her, I mean her believing that she's not fully invested in this marriage.
I mean, that is her opinion that I started the fight, and I could definitely see how that's the thing. To me, I just have really bad. I have a really bad ability to kind of short circuit a fight once it's kind of like the dance is kind of started, I guess. In this particular case, I don't think I said anything that was particularly bad. I made a joke about a cigar, maybe passive aggressively, right? Like I didn't realize that would kind of set her off and ask her or make her feel like she wanted to dismiss me, so to speak, right?
But
Because she'd asked me,
once it did, you kept it going.
yes.
Why?
Um, I don't know, maybe some deep rooted desire to be seen, to be heard.
You don't think you're seen or heard by her?
Um, Not when it so when we're in private, yes, it's fine, right? Like when we're in public, it feels like,
What do you mean by
and part of this
define public? Define public. What do you mean by that?
anywhere where it's like not anywhere where it's not me and her, and it's also not just the people that we're comfortable with, like family and close friends, right? Like anyone else, like anytime we're in front of streamers broadly, anytime we're in public, like at a convention, at an event, or even on her own stream.
But you fixed it to where, based upon what you told me, that you want to keep the narrative that she's single or she's divorced or whatever, right? Everything you're doing is conflicting information or conflicting actions that you are setting forth, and like I said, it's I can see how this could be a little confusing. You say you want this, but then you want to do that, but then when she goes and say this, then you get mad. It's like, which way is it?
I mean, look, I'm not doing any favors for sure. In terms of like obviously the fight or even allowing it to start or starting it. Um, I don't know. I don't know how I would evaluate the other question, honestly.
Okay, well, take some time with that one. So just let me just say this, right? And of course, I'm coming from a conservative point of view, and so take that with a grain of salt. All right, my husband is the leader. My husband is in control. I, as a woman, gave him that power, and I can take it away. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the reason why he is still in control is because he's an excellent leader. I chose correctly. I picked him. Okay. He came to me. I was dating other guys along with him. He was the best. Okay. Became monogamous. Okay. Engaged, married. Wonderful marriage because we have respect and communication. But the difference between, and I totally understand, you're a public figure now. I keep him out of the public eye. And thank you for the fight that you two have, because it motivates me more than ever to keep it that way. Okay, because I don't. When we have a disagreement, what we don't do is what I also want to talk to you about. Before I go into that, how much long? I don't want to dominate your time. So how much more longer do I have with you?
I do want to. I love talking with you because I like being challenged. We can do it again another time, but I have another 5 or so minutes because she, I think, wants to do. Fingers crossed, a stream with me.
Okay, okay. Okay, so I won't get too deep in this. So let me just say, in the next 5 minutes, I will say that now that we just had that part, and we could do it again. So let me just say some good things in reference to you and in reference to the relationship that you two have. So I will tell you this, Nick, you do have the capability to be likable. I noticed that when my opinion on you go up and down. It just depends if you're on your period or not, right? I don't mean that in disrespect, right? But it's like you can get a little catty, and as an alpha woman, I do it. I am my masculinity. I own that shit. But it's like when I look at you and you get on my nerves, that's because you are going on a feminine type of a way that I don't expect a male to go, right? But when you are acting in a leadership position, when you are actually giving your life advice, god damn, that's some good content, right? And I think there is a lot of people that will appreciate that. All right. I don't believe that your entire content could just be based on talking about your marriage and talking about your relationship, because that's going to be short lived. You do have an opportunity to be big. You do have something to offer to society. And that's the best thing about being a person. What can you offer to the world and to other people to make them better? I've already seen that in you. And I think that once you perfect that, but also work on your marriage, and here's a suggestion, maybe y'all keep y'all shit and your arguments off of the internet. If you see her take digs at you, if you see her be passive aggressive, she does that a lot. I hate passive aggressive. I'm aggressive aggressive, right? But she's not masculine. She's a very feminine woman, and that's what feminine women do. You as the leader should recognize, something's going on here. This is not the right time. Let me give her space, and we can talk about this off the stream. That will give you time to rehabilitate your image, and you will seem like the mature one, the leader one, okay? Because there's no way she could have gotten this position without you. However, it's hard for me to even think about that when I see you do stupid shit, and when I see you argue with her, when I see you calling her names. Stop doing that too. Stop calling your wife names. Don't do that no more. Okay. If she's your wife and she loves you, you should not call her names. She shouldn't call you names either. So if I'm correcting both of y'all, stop calling each other names. Stop that shit. I hate that. So there has to be some level of respect there. And you have a very likable, I know this is strange and you may not believe this, but you have a likable personality that you can rehabilitate your image if you need be. But there's some work you have to do, and there's some boundaries that you all have to set in reference to your marriage. On stream and off stream, okay?
No, I actually agree with everything you just said. It's just me needing to rise up and be better. Like it's I know it's correct, right? Like what you're saying, and I've heard this from a few close friends who are, kind of following the situation. We'll just say, and it's just something I have to kind of step up to, I guess. Historically, like I don't know, this is all uncharted territory for me. Like I said, I've mostly in this relationship been kind of supremely confident. Like 22 was a crazy kind of out of left field. Maybe it shouldn't have been. But yeah, so
But
like I feel like
then
most of it
maybe
had been.
also take this into account too. I'm just putting this out there. Then decide whether you want to go back behind the scenes again. Okay, and if you don't want to go back behind the scenes again, then you're going to have to embrace this new path. You're going to have to revamp yourself. You're going to have to learn how to take some self-control, because like behind the scenes we don't know what the fuck's going on, right? Out of sight, out of mind. But once you take that and put it in front of the camera and for all of us to see, it's never good. It's never good for her peace of mind, your peace of mind, her self-esteem, your self-esteem, and it's definitely not good for your marriage. So you have to take some time to decide whether you're going to be in front of the camera or behind the camera. And if you are going to be in front of the camera, perhaps maybe write down what that person is. What will Nick Wickley be and what he will not be, what he won't do and what he will do. Maybe you're just winging shit and therefore, you don't know. And then maybe if you basically structure it the way you structured her career, why can't you do the same with your image? You created this fictitious image of Kate that we all thought was real. We had no idea. And by the way, kudos to you, because you guys are multimillionaires because of it. My thing is, you have the same capability, but there has to be some healing going on there, from some forgiveness going on. But most of all, there has to be some boundaries.
Yeah, I think that's broadly. I'd agree with all of that. Yeah.
Okay, I'm not gonna keep going. All right. Unlike you, I don't talk a lot. I'm just joking. I'm gonna let you go. So let's set up another time where we can finish this conversation. Okay?
Absolutely. I'm like, because like I'm in between PAs right now, so it's like kind of hectic. But like I gave you my number, so text whenever, Twitter whenever, and don't be afraid to kind of bump it because I do get a fair bit of text, and I never really get annoyed by
Yeah,
people just
you
something up.
when you ghosted me, I was like, I didn't even realize it until you responded and said, "Oh, hey, I didn't forget about you," blah blah blah, and I was like, "Oh yeah, damn, what the fuck?" We so, so I I'm gonna give you I'm busy as well, so I we will set something up ahead of time, and then we can reconnect. Sounds good.
Yeah, sounds great.
All right. Okay. Well, enjoy your little what you say you about to do a door stream.
Yeah, a hot tub stream.
Oh, okay. Sounds good. All right. Well, have a good one, okay? And tell Kate I say hello.
Yeah, absolutely. Have
Okay.
a good one,
Okay.
and thanks for the combo.
No problem. Bye bye. All right, guys. That I think that went well. Hold on a second. Let me see what you guys are saying. Where did you go? Okay. All right. Okay. That went pretty smoothly. He didn't flip out. Well, I did not give him any reason to flip out. I sincerely wanted to have a conversation. I'm aware that I can trigger anyone I want, and I had no intentions on triggering him. I really wanted to have a conversation because I wanted to understand his thinking, okay? And I wanted to understand why he does what he does. And because I know this sounds strange, but he is the leader. He is the leader. And so when you have to talk to the leader, not the follower, okay? And anybody can tell Amouranth anything they want. They can say, leave him, don't do this, divorce him, blah, blah, blah. It's going to go on one ear out the other. You have to talk to the leader and say, hey, let's talk about your leadership skills. Let's talk about how we can set this straight. Let's talk about uh, how we can use what you have to make good content. Because I don't think we need any more drama content, okay? I just like, and then I learned something. I did not know it was his doing to keep the narrative of him being a bad guy. And as you can see, I was like, there's no way I'm going to believe this shit. Like, I don't mind being a bad guy. Bullshit. Okay. There are certain people you don't mind being a bad guy to, right? I don't mind being a bad guy to white nationalists. I don't mind that. Okay, I don't mind being a bad guy to people in the black community. I don't mind that. And the reason why I don't mind is because they don't matter to me. But I do mind about being the. I don't want to be the bad guy in my political genre. I don't want to be the bad guy amongst the collective of women. So it depends on the type of woman. So I want to understand. I want people to know that people do things for a reason, and if you get to understand that, then you can basically nip stuff in the bud. So I think this was fine for what we did so far. So okay, so if you guys, I'll say we can just sit here and talk, and then yeah, I'll sit here and talk to you guys for 15 minutes, and then and I gotta go make a better thumbnail. Because the thumbnail I used was at the last minute. And oh, so let me get back to what I said in reference to the fact that I didn't even know he ghosted me, right? And this is why I'm telling you, ladies, that if you are not hooked on one guy, now even though this is just like a streamer to streamer connection, right? I have a whole lot of stuff going on with me. I have nothing bad, but I have a lot that's keeping me occupied. When you are focused on one guy, and that guy's not even your man, that's just somebody you met on Tinder or Instagram, and you make it all about him, and then all of a sudden you send him a message and you haven't heard from him in a day. I haven't heard from when I sent that message out to, and we agreed to have a conversation. I didn't hear him from Nick for over a week. Over a week, and I didn't even know it. For over a week, I didn't even know it until he said, "Hey, sorry about that. I dropped the ball." And I'm looking on my Twitter. I'm like, "Who's that?" Oh, yeah, you did drop the ball. So you see what I'm saying? Like, I didn't even notice until he said something. I don't have no attitude. I'm not going to cuss him out because, well, out of sight, out of mind. It does work. Okay. Um, Sorry I made you mad the other day, Miss Tree. I was only trying to joke. Hope all of yours are good. Oh, okay, Sailor. Yeah, I love gay men. Okay, I'm very protective. I call them my boys. All right. So I thought you was like making a slight at my boys. You know what I'm saying? I consider like I purposely didn't have children, so I tend to, how shall I say this? I tend to imprint, like if I was to have children, on gay males, okay? Because I do treat them like they're I cuss them out. I'm strict with them. I give them good encouragement, whatever, blah blah. So it's like I don't because I have a large gay male audience. I do not want anyone to talk ill of them because they're a part of my heart, just like my community. Period. The women here. So there's that. Now, don't get me wrong. I will. Y'all have seen me check my gays. Y'all seen me go after them when they say something dumb or stupid or whatever. But I tend to never allow any gay bashing or any derogatory things to be said about gay men, just like I won't allow that to be said about straight men, and definitely you can't say nothing bad about lioness. Now you could talk about the pick-me's, you could talk about Barbara the Builders and all. You could talk about all them weak women all you want to. You could use derogatory language against them, but when it comes to that, I just don't. I am protective of them. So yeah, that's why I had to, like, what do you mean by that? So yeah, it's all good. It's all good. But so I thought this conversation went really well. And even though he didn't have that much time, I think we'll have plenty of time to have it the next time. So it's all good. Tree is our gay icon. Pick me basketball Americans, moose lambs are all whooping gay. So yeah, but I gotta oh, you liked the conversation? I'm glad you liked it, TJ. Yeah, I have to go get a better I gotta go make another thumbnail. So in about 12 minutes when I disconnect, I'm gonna go make a better a better thumbnail and everything like that. And then we'll have another one. We'll have another conversation in the future. But yeah, I when I tell someone, and I keep my word, because y'all know I can be confrontational. Y'all know I can be very I'm very aggressive, I'm very masculine, I'm very, in your face. I can be that. But when I'm sincerely want to have a good faith conversation, I'm not going to be confrontational whatsoever. So there's that. Also, ladies, I'm going to be having a contest in my Patreon. I'm gonna work on that too. I came late, sorry, but you mentioned Nick is a leader, so you think he is. I didn't say anything about alpha. Do not think that a person is alpha because they're the leader. Leaders can also be a switch. No, Amouranth is not alpha. Not at all. Not close. In my opinion, he's a switch. Okay? So That's the difference. But that also is can make him likable. Okay, cuz um he has the capability to be empathetic, sympathetic, and understanding, but also a good teacher from my understanding. I've seen him do it. I've seen him do it. I'm trying to understand it. So no, he is. You cannot deny that he's the leader. You cannot deny in that relationship that he is the leader. But he's not doing. He's not in a leadership role when he's antagonistic. When he is going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Y'all know how I feel about that fighting back and forth. I gotta go. You did an amazing job. Talk to JST, okay, about getting us in touch in Discord for some notes if you want them. Yeah, I so far so good, Tam. Thank you so much for coming by. So far so good. Um, he was very forthcoming. He really was. He didn't. I'm actually proud that he did not keep things close to the chest, because he told some things I didn't know, and I go, oh, like I had no idea that it was his doing of the whole narrative. Okay. So when I realized that, I'm like, well, shoot, how was she at fault? This is the reason why I said he is the leader. But I do know that we as women will, we will fight back against our leaders when we find that they are faulty on the leadership. Okay. This is the reason why it's important for women to know, and this is the reason why I said this, because you all know I always said this, right? My husband is the leader because I made him the leader. Okay. I put him in that position. And as you know, in my first engagement to someone else, he was the leader. And when my safety was questioned, was in question, when my safety was in jeopardy and he wasn't going to do anything about it, what happened? I fired him, meaning I gave him his ring back, I ended the engagement, and I came back to America. So I put my first fiance in a leadership position because he was doing a good job as the leader. Once he started to fail his position, out. And so women have to understand, you're putting these men in this position because you see them as the leader. And I'm coming from, of course, a conservative right-wing point of view. I do so much leading everywhere else that it feels so good to come home to my husband. It feels so good to come to a man and he takes over. He just does all the thinking and all the, it's good. I love it. I love it. He takes control and I let him do it because he's a great leader. Okay. However, like if a woman finds that her leader is faltering or he's like falling by the wayside. Now, y'all know how I feel about men arguing with women and that whole 36-hour stream. I'm like, holy, wait a minute. This is not what leaders do. But no, you can't take that away from him. Regardless of how you feel about Nick, he's the leader. He is. And no, Amouranth is not alpha. I don't know why y'all would think that. Let me just ask you something. Who said that? Let me ask you something simply. Would an alpha woman stay on stream arguing with her husband for 36 hours? I want to know, this is no slight to her, but I'm just saying, like, how did y'all think that she was alpha? Like, that's a sincere question. I do think he engaged in a little bit of gas. Absolutely, Spitfire. We didn't even get to that part. But I think he did that. I think he does that because his communication is lacking, and whenever he feel like he's losing control, that gaslighting comes every damn time. And you know I hate gaslighting. If Amaranth was alpha, she'd be out the door. So thank you, Kawan. She's the furthest thing. Thank you, Morgan. Exactly. No, she's it's not. No, no. They have the opportunity to be successful as a couple channel. Yeah, that's what I said. Hold on a second. Let me finish reading your thing. They have the opportunity to be a successful as a sorry. They have the opportunity to be successful as a couples channel if they rebrand their channel relationship. He has stayed private when public. Most of his streams, posting, etc., have been negative thus far. Yeah, if that, I don't know if it's too late though. He has to hold on. He has to work on the himself, right? Because she's following his lead. Here's why I wanted to talk to him, not her. He fixed his insecurities, his shortcomings, his reactions. He set the boundaries. He stick to them, and don't vilify her for following the rules that he set. That relationship would be unstoppable, right? And then they will have a successful couples channel. What went wrong was them trying to do the couple thing on her stream. If I was a guy, I don't want to see no Nick on her channel. I don't give a fuck about the men. Don't even care she's married, but they only want to see her. They don't want to see him. They may want to see her with some other women or some other female stream, but they don't want to see Nick. Nick takes the fantasy away. Nick takes everything out. Nick is distracting, right? So they don't want him. But there could be people, men and women, who would like to look at them as a couple on a couple stream. Now, that ship has sailed. It'll come back around, but he has to work on himself. Fair. I'm confusing terms then. I thought her arguing is trying to make him look bad and stripping away his power. So she was dominant one. That's passive aggressive. Alpha women don't. So I am flawed. No. Alpha women, dominant women, we don't play the passive aggressive. We are aggressive. So I think yeah. You have to hold on. You have to ask yourself, how many alpha women do you know besides me? There are some of us, Jasmine, myself, there's some other alpha women out there. You have to ask yourself, would we have done any of what Amouranth did? And if the answer is no, then there you go. You should compare if you're not familiar what an alpha woman would do and how she would react, and you think a particular woman is alpha, you have to know a woman that is definitely alpha and say, would she do that? So y'all know I'm alpha. Y'all had to say, would Tree do that? Would Tree be like, yum, 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 yum? Would I be, no. Alpha women don't have to do passive aggressive shit. We just very aggressive. Also, we don't do this. Me. We shut up, and then we start strategizing. We start thinking of out and vengeance. That's how alpha women think. We're not doing this back and forth. I don't do back and forth. Jasmine don't do back and forth. There got to be another alpha woman we know, okay? I'm not saying alpha women don't do back and forth, but it's very limited. Okay, so facts, Shelby. Okay, I know some, and no, they wouldn't deal with what. Yeah, exactly. So I wouldn't, and I would. Yeah. So yeah, that's the difference. I think, and to defend you simply, alpha women are rare. We're not like the majority, and it's not supposed to be that way. Alpha women are not supposed to, we're supposed to be the minority, right? Because I think women who are like beta or who are more feminine and passive, not passive, they make better mothers, okay? They just do. I am a good I am a good drill instructor. I'm a good a disciplinarian, right? I like how he described his tiger mom. Even though I don't know her, I like her. Why? Cuz she reminds me a little bit of me. I like the so when he started describing his dad and describing his mom, automatically I'm a like his mama, right? Cause she alpha. His mama is alpha. Sound like he had a very good mama. Now, of course, he had to make excuses for getting his ass whipped. I'm like, excuse me, I'm from the ghetto. Okay, I wish I did get my ass whipped for bringing home bees. Okay, at least your mama cared about your education. My mom didn't give a damn about my education. So, good interview, Tree. You asked the right questions and pushed back while letting him speak and keeping him flowing. Well, thank you, Death Saw. I appreciate that. Yeah, I came here good faith, and I will always come good faith. And I let people know. I say, hey, I'm not going to be confrontational. I also let them know I'm Team Amaranth. So I just want to I really want the best for their relationship. Sorry, I want the best for their marriage, and I see them getting past this, but they got some work to do. All right, guys, let me get off of here and redo my thumbnail. And I need to make a video for my political channel. I have been MIA. Oh, and oh my God, Sun Dormant and Sites. Thank you guys for letting me know that my live stream was made public. Holy shit, I did not know that. Oh, and I gotta upload that for my website. I got lots to do. I got a lot to do. Right? No, I want their marriage to work. I don't want them to get a divorce, but you know what I'm saying? I see them weaponizing the whole I'm gonna get a divorce, they weaponize that shit against each other. Ugh. I hate that. Okay. I just stop fighting on stream. I know it's good content, but stop it. So, all right, guys. Let me do what I got to do, and I will talk to you guys. I said I should have a video up on this channel too. I just have been MIA, a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. So I'll talk to you guys. I'll see you guys on my political channel tomorrow, and then I should have a video uploaded here as well as tomorrow. Okay. All right. Mwah. Love ya. I'll see you guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow.